Check 1 2, check 1 2. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to meeting number 3 of the Northwest Area Elementary School Boundary Study number 2. I'm Chris Percato from the Office of Strategic Planning. We welcome you all here this evening. We'd like to invite our committee members to take a seat at their committee member tables, and we'd like to invite any observers this evening to have a seat at any of the tables marked for the observers. We hope everyone had a chance to sign in tonight on the sign-in sheets here at the front table, green sheets for committee members and pink sheets for observers. In the event of an emergency that we should need to evacuate the cafeteria, such as a fire alarm, take a moment, just please note the exits to our front here. Exits are then available down the hallway, either to your right out towards the athletic fields or to our left back towards the main entrance. Restrooms are just to your left outside in the hallway. And the importance, again, of signing in is that we would be taking, if we do have to evacuate, we would be able to take accountability off of those sign-in sheets. So please avail yourselves to those. Our website for all materials presented at this meeting is at www.bcps.org. Is the main BCPS webpage. At the bottom of that page, there's a link to boundary studies and a link to this study where all meetings are, materials from all meetings are documented, videos from all meetings are documented, the live stream link for tonight's meeting, and any observer comments that we've received. I believe we've received 2 comments so far that are cataloged there, and we remind our committee members through emails to check those comments periodically. We remind all our observers, we welcome you here this evening. We do ask that you take a moment to look at the observer protocol yellow sheets on your tables. It's very important that we respect the work of the committee and the committee's workspace. We ask that you please not approach the committee, not initiate conversations with the committee, and remind that the role of an observer is to observe. There are lots of opportunities available for feedback from our observers through the comments section on the website and a upcoming public information session, as well as board hearings and board meetings. We also have Spanish interpretation here this evening. Should anyone need Spanish interpretation, please just note one of our staff members who are wearing the orange labels on our lanyards, and we can direct you. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. James Cooper.
Thank you, Chris. And again, thank you, BCPS staff, committee members, for joining us here tonight. Again, I see a couple of new faces, some who haven't been here for the other meetings. Again, my name is James Cooper. I'm here on behalf of Cropper GIS, the consultant that was hired to facilitate this boundary study. So here we are at meeting 3, and our agenda here tonight is to review some new information. We do have 3 new options, draft options for you to review tonight. So in total, we have 7 draft options that you as a committee will have reviewed by the end of tonight. We're going to have you collaborate within your small working groups per usual, discussion over the maps, marking them up, things you like, things you dislike, and then we'll have an open discussion around with the greater committee about some of your thoughts around these maps, some of your suggestions, and then we'll look to get you out of here by 8. I know we're starting here a little late, so I'll kind of breeze through this presentation so you guys can get working on this very important task. So you do have your stat handout. If you didn't get one from Michael here or the BCPS staff, please come up to the front to include that into your binder. And within that handout, you do have all the tables associated with all 7 draft options that you'll be reviewing. And we're looking to review those tables, review the maps, get your gut reaction on some of the movements, and share your perspectives by each small group with the greater committee on all of the draft options tonight. So here we are at meeting 3. Things are moving right along as expected. They're moving fast. We're getting to that midway point here tonight. Tonight's very important. I want you as a committee to kind of start getting in your mind of orienting yourself on some of the options that you feel best adhere to the objectives and the considerations, the primary and secondary considerations that you have been reviewing. Because at our next meeting, meeting 4 on October 23rd, you as a committee, all the voting members will be voting on the options that you feel best adhere to the objectives and the primary and secondary considerations that you feel are viable to move forward with, to go live at our upcoming public information session that is scheduled for Wednesday, November 6th, from 7 to 8 p.m. here at Milford Mill Academy. Following that, we'll have one more meeting on our 5th meeting on December the 4th, where if you as a committee taking in the information from the general public, if you are ready to vote on a recommendation, you guys will vote on a recommendation to recommend to the school board for approval. So just looking at the boundary study objective, remembering why we're here, why we are doing this boundary study. We're looking to provide capacity relief to the Northwest Elementary Schools. They are two capital improvement projects within this boundary study area, Deer Park Elementary School and Scotts Branch Elementary School. And we're looking to take advantage of those available seats within this study area and provide balanced utilization among the schools within this area. We're also looking at returning all early childhood 3- and 4-year-old programs at Canfield ELC to their home school, while also expanding the early childhood programs at all the schools within this study area. There's a follow-up question about some community feedback. As of October 4th, there have been 2 comments from the public. So you as a committee feel free, and when you have available time, to go onto bcps.org under resources, under the Boundary Studies tab in the Northwest Elementary School Boundary Study number 2, to go view those public comments, to see the input for some of the members of the public pertaining to this boundary study. We do expect more comments to come, and especially following the survey that will go public at the public information session, where a lot more input from the public will come for you, the committee, to review. There was a follow-up a question at meeting 2 as well about can residential development and enrollment projections be provided. There is a map that has been provided that shows approved developments within the study area that have anticipated elementary student yields, as well as 10-year projection data that is included in your materials. There is also a projection table that is included that shows the projections for each school within this boundary study area. So you want to use this data to kind of as a reference. So when you're considering moving particular communities from one school to another, just kind of be mindful of some of the approved units that are going on within this area and the student yields that are expected. So to be sure that maybe you not want to fill a school too much, knowing that there may be some developments going on within a particular attendance area, to maybe keep room open at that particular school to take in those developments in the future. So at meeting 2, you guys were very productive. I think you as a committee are starting to get a hang of and get used to the tables and the maps and the planning blocks and understanding some of the impacts of your movements. You reviewed 4 options at meeting 2, and draft option 3 seemed to garner the most attention from the committee via the small group discussions. And tonight you'll see 3 more options, option 5, 6, and 7, that are all kind of built off of option 3 based on some of your markups, and I'll kind of go over those in a little bit more detail here before you dive into your small group work. Just want to remember that everything is draft. The goal throughout these committee meetings is to explore as many options as possible that meet the criteria and considerations and the objectives of this boundary study. So continue to mark up these maps and see how many options that you can develop that do best adhere to the objectives of this boundary study area. So you do have 7 options. There are 8.5 by 11 maps, but you do also have plot maps at each small group table. Draft options 5, 6, and 7 are at each small group table, but we do have draft options 1 through 4 back there, as well as walk zone maps and the developmental demographic plot maps as well back there. So if you do need those maps to reference as you are going through your small group work, feel free to ask me or any of the other staff with Green Lanterns. We will be happy to grab those maps for you to come review again as well. These maps are also on the website at croppermap.com/BCPS-NWES BS 2024, where you can go on via your cell phone or mobile device or internet to view those options as well. So just looking at an overview of the draft options that you have here tonight, option 5 is built from the markup, verbatim from markup from option 3 that was marked up by the red group at meeting 2. And the only difference between option 5 and option 3 are these planning blocks 415 and 211. In option 3, they were zoned for Deer Park. But in this option, they're going to be zoned for Lyons Mills, and that was just based off of the exact marked up that a small group wanted those options, and that is these areas here located right in here. So it does kind of reduce the impacts. It keeps those communities actually that were already currently zoned for Lyons Mills in Lyons Mills. This option, it does impact 513 students and does result in 5 elementary to middle school feeder splits. We do have option 6 as well. This was built from option 3 based on a markup from yellow group during meeting 2. But there are some additional moves that we did to help balance utilization. Based on the markups from the yellow group, they wanted to move planning blocks 9, 10, 9, 11, and 9, 12, which were zoned for Church Lane in option 3. They wanted to move those to Winans Elementary, but it did put Winans well over capacity, and it puts Church Lanes well below. And with the 99% study area average, we're looking to kind of balance out these schools. So as a result, we did make that move of putting those 3 planning blocks into Winans Elementary per the markup, but we did make some additional moves like keeping all of Scotts Branch zone currently what it is, so keeping it unimpacted. And kind of breeze through that fast because I really want you to get into your small work group so I don't keep you here tonight very long. But if you do have any questions when it comes to the projections, the options, the tables, feel free to ask me, Chris, Michael, any of the BCPS staff while you're working in your small groups. We'll be happy to help you. We'll give you about 45 minutes to review these draft options, kind of look at some of the strengths and limitations of each options. I go back and I watch these videos after the meetings to kind of get some feedback from you guys, but marking up the maps is what is always best for me when I could take your information back into the lab to make some new options for you. Again, start kind of thinking in your mind of some of the options that you do favor more than others. Given that next meeting, you will be dwindling down and cutting off some options that you don't feel are viable and kind of sticking with the options that you do feel valuable as a committee. So without further ado, do I have any questions from any committee members before we dive into our small group work? Any statements that need to be said to the greater committee, even if it's not a question? All right, well, without further ado, I'll have you guys dive into your work. Feel free to spread out. We do have an extra table back there. If you need to spread out a little bit, because I know it's 3 options and these are large maps, feel free to spread out. But I'll let you guys get to work in and I'll be walking around assisting. Thank you.
Right lane turn is like a bird, and then it's got to go to the side, so you can get your turn.
All right, committee members, if we could kind of wrap up our conversations here. We'll give you about 5 minutes. We'll wrap up our conversations, and then we'll have each participants from the small group share their discussions with the greater committee. So about 5 more minutes. Alrighty, committee members. I feel like we're all set. If we could return to our seats, and we'll have an open discussion here. We'll start with the orange group. They seem prepared, marked up. Absolutely. We'll start with the orange group. If everybody can draw their attention to orange group.
All right, so orange group, we decided to go with option 7. The reason why is because currently Woodhome already has this area down here, which is 912, 910, and 911. We are a Title I school and a community school, whereas though we have extra fundings and we have several paraeducators. The other issue is we have a big Hispanic population in our area, which we do have low income, and this area is one of them. So us putting that over into the other option, which would put them to Winans, we could possibly lose our funding for our children. So it's beneficial for us to stay there. We also have all-day pre-K at our school currently now, and we can accommodate more children at our school currently. This also gives Newtown a relief, whereas Newtown right now is over capacity. This helps them out tremendously by switching some of those students over to Lyons Mill, whereas though it doesn't take away from a development. This development up here actually sits alone by itself over by the Costco's, so they would switch over to going to Lyons Mill, and Lyons Mill can accommodate them. Deer Park pretty much stayed the same for us from option 6 and option 7. and Hernwood, Randallstown, Church Lane actually came back down, whereas though their capacity, so this also keeps them pretty much the same and don't put any extra students in that area for them. Winans pretty much stays the same as well. Scotch Branch pretty much stayed the same as well.
Awesome.
That's it.
Good, good. That was great insight, great explanation. I appreciate that. Any other statements from Orange Group? All right, Yellow Group here.
Okay, so we are the Yellow Group, and what we did was took a stepwise approach to understanding the differences between what was originally recommended, which was option 3, and then because options 4 through 7 were adjusted based on 3, we then looked at the distribution of change across all of the schools. And so in our analysis, we determined that 4 and 5 provided relief or maximum relief to Newtown Elementary School. Originally, in the discussions before starting these committee meetings, Newtown was one of the schools that required the most support. And so in our analysis, we determined that based on that as a priority, we determined that options 4 and 5 meet those criteria, looking at how the changes are distributed across all of the affected schools. Now, hearing this group here about Woodhome and the implication of how it could impact your designation as a community school, we didn't consider 7 because it still has Woodhome over capacity. And what our goal was really to make it equally distributed across all of the schools affected. Did I miss anything?
Good insight, good insight. Any other statements from that group? Any questions for them? Thank you, thank you. All right, Green Group here.
So we spent a lot of time with transportation, this gentleman here and this gentleman's here, because our biggest issue was the fact that in our Owings Mills area, there is a small group of kids, 26 to be exact, that are being bused to Newtown when they could just walk around the corner. I always say right turn, right turn, right turn means, and there's sidewalk everywhere. So there was kind of discussion that, oops, they missed that and they moved the boundary. we're looking at option 7, which because everything's like color coded in the same area, but there is a line that says these kids can't go to the school that's just around the corner from them. So, and our discussion was even around because we think about our first session, and our thing has been about not putting kids on bus. Okay, so the thing about putting kids on bus is this: the first grader that has to ride the bus. And there's been like news all over the place about how kids aren't getting enough sleep. Well, if you're a bus rider, you're getting up earlier than your counterpart who only has to walk across the street because you got to get on a bus. So in our group, our biggest objective is to get rid of the buses, move some of those lines, be realistic about the fact that the school is just right there.
So was there a particular option that kind of favored some of those perspectives, or were there any moves? So option 7
yes.
fulfills that variable
yes,
that you guys are looking to achieve. No problem.
Yes.
Thank you. Very good. All right, red group here. Yes.
Hello. It's kind of loud. I think for our group, the two options that were more so favorable in discussion was option 5 and option 7. And looking at option 5, on the surface, it appears to provide the most balance for all participating schools. However, option 7 also was favorable, providing additional context that can't be seen just looking at the papers, which is why I would say my group, we're really looking forward to those surveys that come about where we can hear directly from members of the community to get more analysis beyond just, the utilization numbers that we're seeing. But for the sake of the options, I would say we were leaning between option 5 and option 7.
Yes, absolutely. Good insight. Anybody else from that group want to say anything? Sure. All righty. Good insight. And then blue group.
Okay, so we liked option 5 and then option 6. And so what we've proposed is for option 6 to take planning box 415 and 211 and move them to Lyons Mill like they are on option 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then to move planning block 909 to Winans. It's 9 students.
Yes.
What did you just say?
From option 6.
It's the second least of the changes.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So that's why.
Yeah. Okay. That's good insight. So they're looking at basically building off of option 6, but kind of incorporating some of the good parts from option 5 that some of you have voiced. Do we have any other insight, any other perspectives from tonight's discussions that anybody wants to make before we get out of here? So it looks like I'll be building one more option that Blue Group just created. I really want to encourage that at our next meeting for your committee members, especially you voting members, to be here. At our next meeting, you will be reviewing this new option that Blue Group just created, which is option 6 with some small variations that incorporate option 5. But following the review of that, you will be voting on options. It's going to be a majority vote on options that you want to move forward with at the public information session that is scheduled on November the 6th, I believe. So I highly encourage committee members, all of you, but especially voting members, to be here at our next committee meeting on October the 23rd, where you'll be reviewing that option and then also voting on options to move forward with. I was happy with the discussion. I'm happy that you're starting to dwindle down and think about really options that you're favoring. If that is all that needs to be said tonight, I will see you all at next meeting, October 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m. at this building, Milford Mill Academy. And without further ado, if we don't have any more questions, you guys have a good night. Travel safe. I appreciate your work.